Let's straight dive into the optimization of your listing. When it comes to optimization and Airbnb listing, there are two factors. First one is what users do to your listing, okay, when it is displayed. And the second is internal factors, which are going to be the changes you will do mainly to impact the external factors. And there are some factors which do not really directly impact the user behavior, for example, pricing and all other stuff, right? Cancellation policy. But most of the internal factors I'm going to talk about, they will impact how user interacts with your listing. So just to give you an idea of what these external factors and what are the different parameters Airbnb uses, the first parameter Airbnb uses is click-through rate. This is the ratio of users who chose to click on your listing when it is displayed in the search result along with other listings. You would have noticed, try and do a search on Airbnb. When you search for a property in an area, Airbnb displays you about 20-30 properties. Out of those 20, every time your property is displayed to user in the search result, out of 100 times, how many times people clicked on your listing out of those 100? That's a criteria for Airbnb to judge whether it is good listing or bad. At least it gives them an idea whether the profile picture you have is good or bad, okay? Because profile picture is what attracts people most. Second is at the search result page, people can see the profile picture and the title. That is all they can see, right? And price as well. But, based on the click-through rate, Airbnb decides, yeah, this property has good profile photo and has something in the title which attracts people. Next is the conversion rate. How many people, what is the percentage of users who book your listing compared to the ones who take a look and end up booking another listing nearby? Let's say your property was clicked 10 times out of 100 times it was displayed. And out of those 10 times, how many times does it get booked? Does it get booked 2 times or 5 times? That's, again, a good indication to Airbnb, because once people go beyond that first page, they can see more photos of your property and they can read description of your property and they can see the amenities of your property and all other details you have put, right? So this is the second stage where Airbnb judges by the user behavior how many times people who click on your property, they book it. That gives an indication there is something inside that listing which is good. People are loving it. Next is the bounce rate. That is the percentage of users visiting your listing but left without interacting further. Okay, and this is the bounce rate. People click on your property, the search result, and they open it for 2 seconds and they jump straight out. That's the bounce rate. Again, this gives an indication that whether your property doesn't have good photos or your property has something in the description which is not attractive to people. Next is the exit event. They track how users moved through your listing. If they read listing reviews, they checked photos, read property description, location before exiting the page. So bounce rate is when someone lands in your listing and without clicking anywhere, they just go straight out. That's a bounce rate. The second is the exit event. They check how many events happened when the user was on your listing. Did they see all your photos? And after seeing the photos, if they clicked on the description, then at least the photos were attractive. That's why they went on to read the description. They read your description, they clicked read more, they read it all. And if they scroll down further, that means the description was good as well. And then they expanded the amenities of your property and they liked it and they they scrolled further down and they opened something else. That way, Airbnb understands that, okay, there is something in this listing, the description was good, the photos were good, amenities were good, and all other things. You know what I mean? So these are called exit events. Average book time users spend on your listing. And all this data is not exact science, okay? These are indicative data they collect about every property. And over time, with period, right? With months and years, they build up a profile of every property, which has, and every property has its own, trends, patterns, what people do, because the data builds up with time. Average book time is the time users spend on your listing before proceeding to book on your listing or click away. Average time is when someone opens your listing, they do, and then they decide to book it. Or they spend hours and hours reading a property, they go out and book something else. That tells something to Airbnb. Next is popularity. This is how many users come to your listing outside the search results. Airbnb shows your property in the search results, but are there any people who are coming to your property from the internet? For example, when someone clicks on a URL or in their email and they land on Airbnb, Airbnb knows where this came from, because by the click you do, everything is interconnected nowadays in internet. They know exactly where this user clicked and they landed here. Whether someone clicked on Facebook and they landed here, someone clicked on Instagram, they landed here, someone clicked on WhatsApp or text message or something like that. And every time such an event happens, Airbnb loves it. They love it because first is you're bringing traffic from outside onto Airbnb. Obviously, you're bringing customers to your listing from somewhere. People are coming to your listing not just brought in by Airbnb, but other sources as well, which is great. No one else is doing. They will love it. The second reason is, and it's a bit more technical, is whenever an Airbnb property is listed on Facebook, Airbnb is rewarded in the Google search engine as well, because everywhere is Airbnb and Google thinks that Airbnb is very popular. That is how they appear at the first 2 pages themselves as well. So that's called backlinks, but that's probably too much detail. For now, just understand that Airbnb loves your property when it is listed on internet outside Airbnb.